the door, just kind of by way of welcome to let people know, but I realized I put it up after a lot of people had already come in the room. Nick at the back is going to be filming tonight's panel, and we're going to put it on the YAACS, as in the BCLA group YAACS YouTube channel. So it's kind of an exciting opportunity. I got a lot of emails from librarians out of province asking how they can participate in tonight, or at least kind of watch tonight's proceedings. So if anyone is uncomfortable with kind of having any part of them in the film or in the footage, just ask you to move to the back of the room. I apologize that I didn't make that more clear when people came and sat. But just so you know, it'll be mainly the panelists at the backs of heads that are filmed, and kind of if we have time for questions later, a question or two might be in that. So hope that that's okay with everyone, but I think it's a really exciting opportunity to kind of share what we were doing tonight with librarians in Edmonton and in Prince George. Yeah, where I got my emails from. So welcome to everyone. Thank you guys so much for coming to the panel tonight. I'm not going to talk at all. I just would briefly like to turn it over to our panelists. I'm going to do a quick introduction, and then I'm going to ask each panelist to talk a little bit about themselves, the library where they work, and maybe what they do on kind of a daily basis. And then we're going to kind of go back through the chain and ask people to kind of showcase either a program, a tool, an app, a website, and we're going to use might use a laptop to show things or just kind of explain. And then hopefully we will have time at the end for questions. If anyone needs to run out or kind of run home or anything like that, feel free to do so, but hopefully we will have time for some questions at the end. So I'm going to start on the far side and introduce you guys to Shannon Ozirny. Shannon Ozirny is Head of Youth Services at the West Vancouver Memorial Library. She is also a SLAIS graduate, and we're really lucky to have her. Next is Cara Pryor, and Cara Pryor was the teen librarian at North Vancouver City Library, and now she's doing more adult services. But it's exciting because she brought the new teen librarian, Kate Longley, who's a very recent graduate of SLAIS. I think we're all really excited to see Kate here tonight. So they represent the North Vancouver City Library, and both have experience with some teen programming. So we're excited to hear from those guys tonight. And last but not least is Cynthia Nugent, who is an award-winning author and illustrator, and more recently a book app developer, and she's also a fellow SLAIS student with us in the math book program. So I'd like you guys to help me welcome our wonderful panelists, and we'll get things fun.
Yes. All right. So hello, I'm Shannon from West Vancouver Memorial Library. I've spoken to a lot of you before, so I don't want to bore you. And also Danielle, you will be bored with everything I say because Danielle works with us now. So just have a day. West Vancouver, the district of West Vancouver, we serve a population of about 45,000. We have the highest per capita circulation in Canada, which is something we're very proud of. We circulate over 1 million physical and digital items each year. So for a population of about 45,000, circulating just over 1 million items, you can kind of do the math. We have on average about 1,700 people come through our doors every day. We have between 5 and 15 children's programs running every single week, so a minimum of 5 every week, so we are a very, very busy youth department. We have a dedicated floor just for children and teens, which is really nice and sort of ideal. We're opening our brand new teen space at the end of February, which we're very, very excited about, and I'll be telling you about some of the technology that will be in that space and our hopes and dreams for that. I'm a department head, so my position, I'm exempt from the union, so my day is a little bit different than maybe a typical librarian's day. I do a lot of reporting, planning, scheduling, managing staff, but I do some of the sort of the traditional library stuff. I order all the children's fiction and children's nonfiction, so that's fun for me to do. And I'm also on the desk about 9 hours a week, so I'm really fortunate that I'm sort of a working manager. And some of the bigger systems, each department heads don't get that chance to be out on the floor, and that's really valuable to me. I don't do a regular story time, but I kind of pinch hit once every couple months, so that kind of keeps me fresh. But in terms of how my job relates to tonight's topic, I'm responsible for essentially all of the strategic planning for the department. So our digital resources, 21st century literacies, liaising with the school board, and assisting them in any way we can to meet their goals around technology. One final thing I'll say about West Vancouver, School District 45 is tremendously advanced Superintendent Chris Kennedy, he has a really terrific blog called Culture of Yes. He's very, very tech savvy. There's currently a blogging challenge for all students in grades 4 to 8 in West Vancouver, where their goal is to get 5,000 student blog posts in a year. Students are required to have access to their own mobile device, whether it be a laptop or an iPad or some sort of tablet. Students are using an online learning dashboard to interact with their peers and their teachers. So being a public library youth department in that environment alongside a school district that really is one of the leaders in Canada in terms of technology and students, the onus is really on us to kind of step up our game in tandem with that. So lots of exciting opportunities, lots of stuff going on. I don't know if you wanted me to touch now on some of the things that we're doing that's relevant to technology and teens, or do we just want to kind of go through and do an overview and come back?
So we can just do like, yeah, kind of overview intro,
Okay.
and then come back and then you really get it.
Perfect. So that's me in West Vancouver.
So North Vancouver City, where we are, you think of the North Shore, often people think of suburbs, Richie Rich, West Van, blah. North Van City is a very different kind of community. It's kind of the corridor along Lonsdale, and it's much more urban, inner city. Population is very dense. We have a very large and very transient immigrant community. So we've got a lot of people who come, it's the first place that they live in Canada, and then they move elsewhere in the Lower Mainland. So when I started as the teen librarian in 2007, and that I had about a year to prepare for the opening of our new library in 2008. Oh yeah, I'm not getting into that yet. So that's so our focus for programming for teens has very much been more on we've got a lot of kids who don't necessarily have a whole lot to do after school. They don't necessarily have parents there after school to direct their off time. We have the highest rate of single parent families in the Lower Mainland, actually. So we've got a lot of kids who are engaging in very risky behaviors after school. Drugs, prostitution, even, this is not the North Vancouver that you think of, right? So our focus is very much on giving kids something to do after school, and so that's kind of where our technology programming has really kind of gone.
And I'm Kate Longley, I'm the new Teen Services Librarian at North Vancouver City. And so I just started January 2nd, and I'm just getting my feet underneath me, but basically my day-to-day work will look basic, like I'll have a smattering of different responsibilities within the library, so I'll do desk work in different departments, not only in the readers area where we have all of our fiction and our teen department, so I will be all over the place there, but then my main focus will be doing collections, doing a lot of outreach to our different partners and creating new networks, and really building and strengthening those networks that with others, community providers of resources to these youth, so that's really exciting. And yeah, if I missed anything, we'll talk about it.
I can already think of things that I missed. So.
I'm Cynthia Nugent, and I'm a master's student. I've finished my courses, and now I'm working on my thesis, which is I'm fortunately being allowed to do a creative thesis. And I've taken a print book by Cara Pryor and Philippe Béat, and published by Trademan Books, which is a small literary press for children located here. And they have given me all of the files for that book, digital files, so that I can turn them into an interactive children's app. And what's exciting about doing this in MACL is that after working as an illustrator and an author for most of my life, to realize how little I understood picture books until I came to this program. So I will share a little bit about what I've learned and what I'm making for my thesis. And also I can tell you a few of
So when I read youth in the email, we consider youth kids and teens, but I think it's maybe you guys just meant just teens?
I meant the whole gamut.
Oh, good, okay, good, we're on the same page. Excellent. So I kind of set the stage for sort of what our community and what our school district really can benefit from and expect from our library. Highly literate population, very tech-savvy school district, emphasis on creating digital projects, whether it be blogs, PowerPoint presentations, podcasts, videos. We have students as young as grade 3 and 4 coming in who have to do PowerPoint presentations rather than reports or handing in a 500 word. That'd be long for grade 2, but you get what I'm saying. The primary grades, they're already getting into having to synthesize information in a digital, print, and visual format. So that at least is a big change from when I was in grade 3. So that's kind of the environment that we're working in. So some of the initiatives that we currently have that involve youth and technology. West Vancouver was, you can see I really have my talking points down, but I'm very proud of my library. We were the first public library in Canada to have a Kindle lending program. And we're the first, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, we also have a special youth Kindle lending program. So we lend Kindles that are preloaded specifically with kids and teen only material. We have requests for that. The nice thing about doing that is you're giving kids and teens a high in demand materials. It's a very economical way of getting extra copies of titles like The Hunger Games or City of Bones. But we can also sneak in those sort of lesser known gems in there too, like here's your Cassandra Clare, but there's also some Gary Schmidt. So that is something that we're doing. We, like a lot of public libraries, have a technology petting zoo, which is essentially devices for people to use inside the library. But the way we approach our technology petting zoo is that we find that kids and teens and families are less interested in trying out technology like you would in a Best Buy store. They're interested in test driving apps. It's hard a lot of times to try an app before you buy it. Some of them have preview versions, some of them will have special promotional codes, but for the most part, you're having to decide, should I spend $5 or $10 or $15 on this thing I stumbled upon in the Apple Store. So we have done quite a bit of sleuthing and research and downloaded and purchased apps for our iPads and our iPod Touch that have been well reviewed or won awards or of high interest. So people and youth can actually come in, try them out, and decide if it's worth spending $5 or $10 on the app. I don't know if any of you have ever searched in the Apple App Store. The discoverability is terrible. If you enter in kids' apps, you'll get like 9,000 results, and lots of them are sort of questionable in terms of did Joe Blow put this together in his basement, or is this from random house Inc. So that's another area that we're sort of going into, is that kind of app advisory, where we can let patrons know what the major developers are, how to search the Apple Store, and give them that device where they can actually sort of try before they buy. We also, like a lot of public libraries, have teen tech volunteers, where we have teens come in and work with people who are having some kind of basic technology challenges, whether it be setting up an email account or a BlackBerry or something like that. I'll tell you about 3 exciting things that we have coming in 2013. So we are doing a Lego robotics program starting in April, which I'm really excited about. Essentially, kids from 10 to 12 come in, they work with a Lego specialist, I guess would be this is what he does for a living. He teaches Lego robotics programs. And they build a robot from scratch, and apparently they need the largest room we can have because the robot needs to move and be tested. I don't know. But, so that's very exciting. And then we'll be able to display those finished products in the library. So building Lego robots from scratch never hurts. Also, I said we're opening our new teen space at the end of February. In that teen space, it doesn't sound like it would be that much of a challenge, but we will have a Mac in that teen space. Our district IT does not support Macs or Apple products. I think that's the same with many districts and municipalities. So we're essentially contracting this out separately, building the image, and sort of kind of hopefully paving the way that to the whole district, at least the library, can eventually start getting into Macs, just because the productivity tools on there and the photo and editing capacities are just much greater and much less clunky than they are on PCs. We're also going to have what we're calling sort of a multifunctional monitor, a large 55-inch monitor and AV panel where we will be able to do everything from plug in a teen's iPod if they bring in their own playlist. So if we have Playlist Thursdays, so from 6 to 8, we play, you know, the playlist that teens in our community develop, to doing a loop of photography projects from a local grade 11 school class, to showing movies. But really the main thrust of having that monitor and having that panel is so we can essentially advertise and feature team-created content. It's not to simply be a looped carousel of ads for library events, which is how you sometimes see monitors being used in libraries. We essentially want it to be a blank canvas for teams and their projects. Oh, I also have Photoshop on here. All our computers in our teen space will have Photoshop too. So really we're sort of setting the stage for teens to be able to come in and not only work on their school projects, but also their personal passions. So. 4 minutes, Mark.
I realized that I forgot to say who I am. I'm actually head of program services and community development at my library. I was the teen librarian for the first 2 years that I was there, and then I was head of children's, and then I was head of adults, and now I'm back to kind of everything but on the program side. And I've always had some sort of oversight for teens since I've been there. But anyway. So when I started in 2007, as I said, we were moving into a new library, and it was my job to sort of take the teen department from this tiny little corner with like teen zone and stars and silver writing on top of like a little corner of the library to a really nice big space in our brand new beautiful library. And so I had been completely overwhelmed with all these fabulous ideas that I'd seen other libraries doing, and at the time gaming was like the big cutting edge, like controversial thing that libraries were getting into. And so what I did is I set up like a 3-pronged gaming program at the library. There was lending games, which I think we were the first library in the Lower Mainland to actually start lending games.
We don't.
Yeah, and of course like half the collection went missing in the first 3 months, but we got that sorted out. And we also had after-school gaming, so we have programs for teens specifically running every day after school between 3:30 and around 6. And video games are just a part of the toolbox there. So we have a Wii and we have a PS3. We also have board games and quiz games and craft for afternoons and homework afternoons and stuff like that. Video games is part of that arsenal. We also bought 4 tournament Wiis and 4 tournament TVs so that we could have major video game events, tournaments happening a few times a year. The video game lending program went really well. As I said, we lost a lot of games, but it's been incredibly popular, and I think it gives us good cred in the community. The tournament also really successful. We have a teen advisory council that helps to plan the tournaments, organize the day. They run the, what do you call it, the draft? No, what do you call it? Draw. Sorry. When you anyway.
The list.
Thank you, the list of like who's playing when and blah blah blah. They know the words.
The roster.
Thank you. These are some of the skills that you would learn if you came to the library, like what is the name of the thing. So they're there, they're setting up, they get volunteer hours. We had a teen technology council for a year as well until we noticed that most of the kids who were on the technology council were also on the teen advisory council, and we put it back together. But they took a lot of responsibility, so it was a really good leadership opportunity for kids in the community to get involved in. We set up practice times before our tournament, so we actually have kids who want to come in and work on their skills before there's like Smash Brothers Brawl or something like that on the weekend, which is really cool. And every time we run a tournament, we always have parents who are coming in and thanking us for having this thing for their kids to do. They're just so excited about things like this happening in their community for free. So that's been a really, really successful part of the video game program. The after-school side is where I think we need a lot more improvement. So far, what our after-school programs have been, there's a lot of, quite frankly, just a lot of babysitting. We have a lot of behavior stuff that happens after school. We've got a really great space, but we can fit a lot of kids in, and a lot of kids come. As I said, there aren't a whole lot of options for free for kids to participate in after school. So we get anywhere from, on a slow day, we have 15 kids in the room to 45 kids. So we got 45 13-year-olds in a space after school with giant slushies like this. It can be a little bit chaotic. So unfortunately, a lot of our effort has gone into kind of space management and just having vaguely interesting things for kids to do after school, rather than something that's really constructive, something that gives people skills that they might not have had before, lets them build on things that they're really excited about. And that's where Kate is coming in to really kind of take our after-school programming to the next level in terms of productivity and constructiveness and all this.
Yeah, cool. So basically, we've been doing kind of an ongoing consultation with the community. We started in 2011. We did a really like a survey that more than 1,000 people took, and out of that, I think we got a good smattering of teens, but we want to continue on with that consultation. We did do a focus group with tweens, so like 9 to 12 age group, and we got a lot of great ideas, but part of what we'll be doing now in this first 6 months of 2013 is continuing doing more outreach and conversations with teens in the city, and doing our outreach to the different community centers where they hang out after school, and talking to the kids that come to our library and figuring out what they want, as well as working with the providers to figure out what they are already doing. So we don't cross over our services. But what we came out of, just with where we are so far, that we're really excited about regarding technology and working with tweens and teens, is the idea of kind of an art and media space that combines art and technology, and is along those lines that having more resources, more software, and doing a lot of workshops. So we want to do our digital editing, like video editing, photo editing workshops, and all of that kind of stuff. But we also want to start doing something called Hack Fest, which is, I don't know if anyone's heard of, Hack
There's a
Fest.
desk over there. So.
Yeah, so that's basically coming out of, there was a really successful Hack Fest in Victoria. The Victoria Hack Fest was 9 to 14-year-olds. And they used a lot of free tech tools that are being put out by Mozilla. So it's really great that they're available. So they have something called Hackosaurus, which is something I could maybe demo.